Hi guys, Scott here. Hey, I wanted to show you a few things in my yard. One is this amazing giant mango tree that I'm standing under. There's another one right behind it, just as big. Probably been here for 25, 30 years, I don't know. Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of fruit, but actually right now they're full of flowers, so fingers crossed we'll get some fruit. But what I wanted to show you today was about 2.5, 3 years ago, I planted a bunch. I have a handful of cacao trees here, and this particular tree gives red fruit. But I'm going to show you a couple different ones. Let me turn the camera around. Anybody need a puppy? This beautiful, amazing little creature needs a home. Anyways. This is one of my cacaos, and again, this is probably about 3 years old. It's got a ton of fruit. This stuff just produces so much fruit, and unfortunately, I usually just give it away. But this time, I'm going to try to make some at least roasted cacao seeds, and we're going to open one up, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. They're actually pretty tasty. Not sweet, but kind of like a roasted almond almost type of thing. But one of the ways that you tell if it's ready to harvest is you use your fingernail and you scratch the surface. And as you can see, it's very green. That one is definitely not ready. So let's take a look at a different one I have right over here. Actually, this little tree is a tree I planted, and hopefully I'll start getting fruit maybe this year, if not next year. This is Mamonas, or in Hawaii they call it rattan, whatever. It's kind of like a lychee, a fuzzy lychee. But these are all cacao trees. This one, this is another one that gives off the red fruit. This one is more of a yellow fruit, and I'd be lying if I told you I know what the difference is. But you get an idea of they just have a ton of fruit. Unfortunately, I'm embarrassed by how much dead fruit there is on the ground. But let's check this one. This one looks like a good possibility. Now see, this one is not green. So we're gonna pick this one, and we're gonna use that to try to make, we might try to make some chocolate, but definitely gonna try to make some things. I kind of like this guy. Somebody's made a rustic little nest in there. I don't know who it is, but I'm gonna leave it alone. Here's a little avocado tree. Hopefully I'll get avocados in the next year or two. They're not the fastest. But anyways, let me show you one more down the hill. It's a different variety. Actually, it's not really a cacao. Even though it was sold to me as a cacao, it's kind of more of a cousin to the cacao. Anyways, let's go see what we got. All right, guys. Here's what was sold to me as white cacao. And as you can see, the pods are very similar. And again, we'll open one up, and even on the inside, they're very similar. And according to Google, they're not really cacaos, but they are a close cousin. And despite never attempting this before, they're supposed to be even more like a roasted almond if you dry them out and roast them. So I'm gonna pick a bunch of these and see what we got. Again, these trees are probably about 3.5 years old, and they were probably 18 inches, tiny little plants when I planted them. And they're just full of fruit now. This is yucca, and it grows like a weed, and it's delicious. But since I'm right here, something else caught my eye I want to show you real quick. This vine here that's growing all over these flower plants is a type of yam. It's a wild yam. And of all the rooting vegetables that I've tasted in Costa Rica, this is absolutely my favorite. It's very similar to just a sweet potato, but they just grow wild. And you dig them up, and they look kind of like yams. They're a little denser, so you have to cook them a little longer or cut them into smaller pieces. But they are so creamy and full of flavor. They're absolutely delicious. We'll dig some of those up on another day, but I just wanted to show that to you. And then, of course, here's one of my citrus trees. This is a mandarina. It's basically a sour tangerine, and I absolutely love it for making basically my Costa Rican style of lemonade. It's just so refreshing and delicious. Anyways, let's go cut a couple of these things open and see what we got. Okay, we've harvested some regular cacao, which is these guys. And then we've also got some of the one that they call the white cacao. And we're gonna break them open, see what they look like inside, and start the fermenting. We need to let them ferment for about 3 days. So let's break them open and see what they look like. Okay, I know my lighting's not great, but this is what it looks like when you're standing in the middle of the jungle. Actually, it's not a jungle. This little trail here leads from my house to a little cabin that I built a few years ago. One day we'll do a little cabin tour as well. So these are the cacao. These are the white cacao, or whatever we're going to call them. And I don't have a lot of experience with this. Make sure you have a clean blade. Anyways, here we go. Oh, first of all, I want to show you. These are relatively tough. They're not soft by any stretch of the imagination. All right, here we go. Oh. All right, here we go. So I'm going to put the cacao in this bucket, and ooh, it's kind of gooey, slimy stuff. So there's the shell, the housing. Actually, that's kind of a cool little thing. Anyways, here's the goodies. It's very slimy, got like a membrane on it. It's actually really delicious. Oh my gosh, it's really good. Sweet. If you have a thing with textures, it might freak you out a little bit. It's kind of slimy. Don't eat the seed. Anyways, so we're going to put all the goodies in here. Ew, kind of gross. Really interesting. All right, here we go. By the way, I am by far not an expert. So there's probably better ways to do this, but this seems to work. So amazing, the different shapes and colors and textures. There's a better, that one came apart a little better. You kind of get an idea of stuff in there. So we're going to put all of this stuff in this bucket, and my understanding is we stir it up about once or twice a day, and we just kind of let it get rotten for about 3 days. And then we'll dry it out and roast them. And then I might attempt to make some chocolate looks like it's a lot of work, but at the very least we'll have these seeds that'll be roasted, and they're kind of like almonds. It's the closest thing. They're not. These I haven't eaten yet, so that'll be a new experience for me. Okay, last one. Oh, that looks like a good one. Ooh. That one's a little sour. Interesting flavor. Very delicious. So good. Anyways. Alright. There we go. We got a fair amount. So we're going to just let that sit somewhere out of the rain and let it do its thing. Alright, let's try the other one. Let's see what these guys look like. Very similar. Not, the smell isn't very inviting. The flavor's not bad. It's much more creamy, more like just more creamy. I don't know how to describe it. Much firmer. Interesting. Alright, let's try another one. And these are definitely harder than these. I feel like you should be able to make something out of that. I don't know. Alright, let's get a little more daring here. Smell? No bueno. Yeah, definitely not as good as those. Not my. Some of it is the smell. Kind of makes it tough to enjoy the flavor. But they're kind of cool. They're like, ooh, somebody can make a cup out of it. I don't know. Definitely a lot more meat inside of these. What's that? Chance with. Nice. Really cool. I don't know. Before I finish the video, I'll find the real name for these other than white cacao. But there you have it. Now we'll let this sit for a few days, and we'll do an updated video on that. Thanks for joining along.